लोका त्राणाय कारुण्य घन घनात्वम् प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसूरसेना रोमाञ्चकम्पा श्रुतरङ्गबाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतान्मन्दिरमजनाथ युक्तस्य भक्तां क्षणियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो स्वादान्न तृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा स्वाधनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनो रतिकेलिसिद्धै यायालिभिर्योक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रादिदक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षादरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्य था भायत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोया प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायान्तु वां तस्य यशश्रीसन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद चैतन्य प्रभु जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Radha Nila Madhava, Radha Nila Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल।
Jai Shnupada Pramhamsa Pradika Acharya Stota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Aparchana Rinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBT BI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Shnupada Pramhamsa Pradika Acharya Stota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Gila Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Kshetra Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samavrita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad-Daine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye Tava Kara Kamala Vari Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipur Tanubhinga Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Tava Kamala Bare Nakha Adbhuta Shringarita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhinga Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Keshavadrita जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज सर्व भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक श्री लक्ष्मीपति नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्त चरणी श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाबो अभिलाषी राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाबो अभिलाषी तुम्हारो शरण लोय तारा वाचा पूर्ण होय कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हेरी बो सदा जुगल रूप रासी यही निवेदना धरो साखीरानुगता करो प्रेमाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी दीना कृष्णा दासे को यही जेना मोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा है न भासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा है न भासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे जय वृंदादेवी जय वृंदादेवी जय वृंदादेवी जय वृंदादेवी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी निताय गौरा हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यव्रताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यव्रताय नमो नमः श्रीमती वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की
resident in Vrindavan. My desires also grant me residence in the precious groves of Shiva and Davanatam. Thus, within my vision, I shall always behold the beautiful paths of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follow a Kara dance of the Virgin. Please give me the privileged devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulasi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the matter of chanting holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating holy name the Lord. 2. To consider the name the demigods or Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities and strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Veda the fruity activities, Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments even understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill to everyone, and their full compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shastakam ki jai. Jeto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Pudivardhanam Pradipadam Purunarmida Swadanam Sarvatamasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smarane Nagalaha Etadishi Tavakripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudevami Desham Iha Janina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi Na Thanam Na Janam Na Sundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kahamaye Mama Jammani Jammanishvare Bhavata Bhaktira Haituki Tavai Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Ham Vishame Pavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galata Shrudharaya Vadanam Kat Gata Rudaya Gira Pulakai Nichitam Vapurkata Tava Nama Grahane Pavishati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me ashrisha va padratam pinnashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vitatatu lampato mat prananathastu sa eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shastakam ki jai. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction humanity at large, because it spreads a rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction to human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out kindness enables us to easily approach you by holy names, but I am so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. We should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up, when hairs on my body stand and recitation of your name. O Govind, feeling your separation, I'm considering the moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Charna prayers ki jai. Om Jana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachadate Shatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanivi Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuyo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Mutaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Mutaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupa Nuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirdeshta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpadurubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Srato Pangor Mamamanda Mater Kati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Dvindarana Kalpadumadash Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtari Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Vata Tatastitaha Karshang Venu Soner Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangala Charna prayers ki jai. Shri Paramasamhita ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadirajya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasukapaviksha Lakshariteshu Surabhi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasashata Sambrahmasevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venun Kavanantamaravinda Dalaya Daksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Gandarpagoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantakala Savanamada Vamshi Ranangadam Panayakeri Kalavilasam Shamam Tripanga Lalitam Yatapakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chimmaya Sadujala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Shatavassara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Muni Pangavanam Sopiasti Yapapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Sarachayitum Jagatanta Kotim Yachakti Rasti Jagatanta Chayayatanta Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manujasta Teva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Yana Bhushaha Suktayam Eva Nigama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chimma Rasa Patibhavitapis Tapiya Evan Jarupa Tayakalapihi Goloka Eva Nivasate Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hitayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundar Machintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalanyamena Tishtan Nanavatarama Karo Puvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samapava Parama Pumangyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead, has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jewel ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Syamasundara is eternally manifest.
Substantiality and is thirst full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universe as both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure, unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet, he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidantes, Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Syamasundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrisimha, Vamana, etc., as is subject to portions. Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 Purport. Srinvatam swakata Krishna punyasravana kirtanaha hridayanta hiso hi abhadrani vidinoti suhritsatam nasta prayesva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamho bhava kama lobhadayasche chete eterana vedam sitam satve prasidati एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद् भक्ति योगतः भगवत् तत्व विज्ञानं मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्चिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे.
To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity, and for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 36. Savachya vachakataya Bhagavan Brahma Rupa Dhrak Nama Rupa Kriya Dhatte Sakarma Karma Kaha Paraha Saha He Vachya by his forms and activities, Vachakataya by his transcendental qualities and entourage, Bhagavan the personality of Godhead, Brahma absolute, Rupa Dhrak by accepting visible forms, Nama name, Rupa form, Kriya pastimes, Datte accepts, Sa karma engaged in work, Akarma kaha without being affected, Paraha transcendence. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He, the personality of Godhead, manifests himself in a transcendental form, being the subject of his transcendental name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and transcendental variegatedness. Although he is unaffected by all such activities, he appears to be so engaged. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Whenever there is a need of material creation, the transcendental personality of Godhead accepts forms in the material world for creation, maintenance, and destruction. One should be intelligent enough to know his activities in truth and not be biased to conclude that he descends to the material world by accepting a form created by material nature. Any form accepted from the material nature has its affection for everything done in the material world. A conditioned soul who accepts a material form for undergoing a certain term of material activities is subjected to the laws of matter. But here in this verse, it is clearly stated that although the forms and activities of the Lord appear to be the same as those of a conditioned soul, they are supernatural and impossible for the conditioned soul. He, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always unaffected by such activities. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.14, the Lord says, Na mam karmani limpanti na me karma phale spruha iti mam yo bhijanati karma birna sabadhyate. The Lord is never affected by the activities which he apparently performs by his different incarnations and personalities, nor does he have any desire to achieve success by fruitive activities. The Lord is full by his different potencies of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, and thus he has no reason for physical exertion like the conditioned soul. Therefore, an intelligent person who can distinguish between the transcendental activities of the Lord and the activities of the conditioned souls is also not bound by the reactions of activities. The Lord as Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva conducts the three modes of material nature. From Vishnu is born Brahma, and from Brahma is born Shiva. Sometimes Brahma is a separated part of Vishnu, and sometimes Brahma is Vishnu himself. Thus, Brahma creates the different species of life all over the universe, which means that the Lord creates the whole manifestation either by himself or through the agents of his authorized deputies.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 37 to 40. Prajapatin manun devan rishin pitraganan pratak siddhak charana gandharvan vidyadrasura guhyakan kinnarapsaro nagan sarpan kimpurushan naran matra raksha Pisachamscha pretabhuta vinayakan kusmandanmada vetalan yatu dhanan grahan api khagan mrigan pasun vrikshan girindripa saripsran dvividhas chaturvidhaye nai Jalasthala nabhaukasa kushala mishra karmanam gatayastva imaha. Prajapati, Brahma and his sons like Daksha and others. Manun, the periodical heads like Vaivasvata Manu. Devan, like Indra, Chandra and Varuna. Rishin, like Bhrigu and Visista. Pitraganan, the inhabitants of the Pita planets. Pratak, separately. Siddha, the inhabitants of the Siddha planet. Charana, the inhabitants of Charana planets. Gandharvan, the inhabitants of the Gandharva planets. Vidyadra, the inhabitants of Vidyadhara planet. Asura, the atheists. Guhyakan, the inhabitants of the Yaksha planet. Kinnara, the inhabitants of the Kinnara planet. Apsarasa, the beautiful angels of Apsara planet. Nagan, the serpentine inhabitants of Nagaloka. Sarpan, the inhabitants of Sarpaloka. Kimpurushan, the monkey-shaped inhabitants of the Kimpurusha planet. Naran, the inhabitants of earth. Matra, the inhabitants of Matra Loka. Raksha, the inhabitants of the demonic planet. Pisachan, the inhabitants of Pisacha Loka. Cha, also. Preta, the inhabitants of Preta Loka. Bhuta, the evil spirits. Vinayakan, the goblins. Kushmanda, Willow the wisp. Unmada, lunatics. Vetalan, the jinn. Yatudhanan, the particular type of evil spirit. Grahan, the good and evil stars. Api, also. Khagan, the birds. Mrigan, the forest animals. Pashun, the household animals, Vrikshan, the ghosts, Girin, the mountains, Nripa, O king, Sarispran, reptiles, Dvidid, Dvividha, the moving and the standing living entities, Chatuvidha, living entities born from embryos, eggs, perspiration, and seeds. Ye, others, Anye, all, Jala, water, Sthala, land, Nabha o Kasa, births, Kushala, in happiness, Akushala, in distress, Mishra, in mixed happiness and distress, Karmanam, according to one's own past deeds, Gathaya, as result of, Tu, but Ima, all of them. Translation. O King, know from me that all living entities are created by the Supreme Lord according to their past deeds. This includes Brahma and his sons like Daksha, the periodical heads like Vaivastava, Vaivasvata Manu, the demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, the great sages like Bhrigu, Vyasa, and Vasishta, the inhabitants of Pitraloka and Siddhaloka, the Charanas, the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Asuras, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and angels, the serpentines, the monkey shaped Kimpurushas, the human beings, the inhabitants of Matraloka, the demons, Pisachas, ghosts, spirits, lunatics, and evil spirits, the good and evil stars, the goblins, the animals in the forest, the birds and household animals, the reptiles, the mountains, the moving and standing living entities, the living entities born from embryos, from eggs, from perspiration, and from seeds, and all others, whether they be in the water, land, or sky, in happiness, in distress, or in mixed happiness and distress, all of them, according to their past deeds, are created by the Supreme Lord. Purport. The varieties of living entities are mentioned in this list, and with no exception from the topmost planet down to the lowest planet of the universe, all of them in different species of life are created by the Almighty Father Vishnu. Therefore, no one is independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, 4th verse, the Lord therefore claims all living entities as his offspring in the following verse. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya Tasham Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. The material nature is compared to the mother. Although every living being is seen to come out of the mother's body, it is still a fact that the mother is not the ultimate cause of such a birth. The father is the ultimate cause of birth. Without the father's seed, no mother can give birth to a child. Therefore, the living beings in different varieties of forms and positions within the innumerable universes are all born of the seeds of the Almighty Father, the personality of Godhead, and only to the man with a poor fund of knowledge do they appear to be born of the material nature. Being under the material energy of the Supreme Lord, all living entities, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, are manifested in different bodies according to their past deeds. The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 4th verse. The material nature is inferior in comparison to the living entities. The superior nature and inferior nature of the Lord combine to manifest all universal affairs. Some of the living entities are relatively happy in better conditions of life, whereas others are in distressed conditions of life. But factually, none of them are actually happy in material conditional life. No one can be happy in prison life, although one may be a first-class prisoner and another a third-class prisoner. The intelligent person should not try to be promoted from third-class prison to first-class prison life, but should try to be released from the prison altogether. One may be promoted to first-class prisoner, but the same first-class prisoner is again degraded to a third-class prisoner in the next term. One should try to be free from prison life and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the real goal for all types of living entities.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 41. Sattvam Rajastama iti tisra surandra narakaha tatrapi ekaika so rajan vidyante gataya stridha yadaikaikataro nyabhyam swabhava upahanyate. Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Raja, the mode of passion, Tamaha, the mode of darkness, Iti, thirst, Tisra, the three, Sura, demigod, Drara, human being, Narakaha, one who is suffering hellish conditions, Tatra api, even there, Ekaikashaha, another, Rajan, O king, Vidyante, divide into, Gataya, movements, Tridha, three, Yada, at that time, Ekaikataraha, one in relation with another, Anyabhyam, from the other, Swa, habit, Upahanyate, develops. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are three. There are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O king, even a particular mode of nature, being mixed with the other two, is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The living entities individually are being conducted by a particular mode of nature, but at the same time there is every chance of other being influenced by the other two. Generally, all conditioned souls in the material engagement are influenced by the mode of passion because every one of them is trying to lord it over the material nature to fulfill his individual desire. But in spite of the individual mode of passion, there is always the chance of being influenced by the other modes of nature by association. If one is in good association, he can develop the mode of goodness, and if in bad association, he may develop the mode of darkness or ignorance. Nothing is stereotyped. One can change his habit by good or bad association, and one has to become intelligent enough to discriminate between good and bad. The best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord, and by that association, one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of the Lord's pure devotees. As we have already seen in the life of Srila Narada Muni, he became the topmost devotee of the Lord simply by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. By birth, he was the son of a maid servant and had no knowledge of his father and no academic education, even of the lowest status, but simply by associating with the devotees and by eating the remnants of their foodstuff, he gradually developed the transcendental qualities of the devotees. By such association, his taste for chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord became prominent. And because the glories of the Lord are non different from the Lord, he got direct association with the Lord by means of sound representation. Similarly, there is the life of Ajamila, 6th canto, who was the son of a Brahmana, and was educated and trained properly in the discharge of the duties of a Brahmana, but who, in spite of all this, because he contacted the bad association of a prostitute, was put into the path of the lowest quality of Chandala, or the last position for a human being. Therefore, the Bhagavatam always recommends the association of the Mahat, or the great soul, for opening the gate of salvation. To associate with persons engaged in lording it over the material world means to enter into the darkest region of hell. One should try to rise himself by the association of the great soul. That is the way of the perfection of life.
Text 42. Swa evadam jagaddhata bhagavan dharma rupadrik pushnati stapayan vishvam tiryan nara suradibhi. Sa, he, eva, certainly, idam, this, Jagaddhata, the maintainer of the entire universe, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Dharma Rupadrik, assuming the form of religious principles, Pushnati, maintains, Stapayan, after establishing, Vishwam, the universes, Thiryak, living entities lower than the human beings, Nara, the human beings, Suradhipihi, by the demigodly incarnations. Translation. He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and demigods. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, incarnates himself in different societies of living entities to reclaim them from the clutches of illusion. And such activities of the Lord are not limited only to human society. He incarnates himself even as a fish, hog, tree, and many other forms, but less intelligent persons who have no knowledge of him deride him even if he is in human society as a human being. The Lord therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, verse 11. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. As we have already discussed in the previous verses, it is concluded that the Lord is never a product of the material creation. His transcendental position is always unchanged. He is the eternal form of knowledge and bliss, and he executes his almighty will by his different energies. As such, he is never the subject of reactions for any of his acts. He is transcendental to all such conceptions of actions and reactions. Even if he is visible in the material world, the exhibition is only of his internal energy, for he is above the good and bad conceptions of this material world. In the material world, the fish or the hog may be considered lower than the man, but when the Lord appears as a fish or hog, he is neither of them in the material conception. It is his causeless mercy that he appears in every society or species of life, but he is never to be considered one of them. Conceptions of the material world, such as good and bad, lower and upper, important and insignificant, are estimations of the material energy, and the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all such conceptions. The words param bhavam, or transcendental nature, can never be compared to the material conception. We should not forget that the potencies of the Almighty Lord are always the same and do not decrease because the Lord assumes the form of a lower animal. There is no difference between Lord Sri Rama, Lord Sri Krishna, and his incarnations as a fish and hog. He is all pervading and simultaneously localized at any and every place. But the foolish person with a poor fund of knowledge, for want of that parambhavam of the Lord, cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can take the form of a man or a fish. One compares everything to one's own standard of knowledge. As the frog in the well considers the sea to be like the well, the frog in the well cannot even think of the sea. And when such a frog is informed of the greatness of the sea, it takes the conception of the sea as being a little greater than the well. As such, one who is foolish about the transcendental science of the Lord will find it difficult to understand how Lord Vishnu can equally manifest himself in every society of living entities.
Forty-three, Canto 2, Chapter 10. ततः कालाग्निरुद्रात्मा यत् श्रुतं इदमात्मनः सन्नियच्छति तत्काले गणानिकम् इवानिलाः. Tada, thereafter, at the end, Kala, destruction, Agni, fire, Rudratma, in the form of Rudra, Yata, yet, whatever, Srishtam, created, Idam, all these, Atmanaha, of his own, some completely, Niyachati, annihilates, Tatkale, at the end of the millennium, Gana Anikam, bunches of clouds, Iva, like that of Anilaha, air. Translation. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This creation is very appropriately compared to clouds. Clouds are created or situated in the sky. When they are displaced, they remain in the same sky without manifestation. Similarly, the whole made by the Supreme Personality of God in His form of Brahma. It is maintained by Him in the form of Vishnu, and it is destroyed by Him in the form of Rudra or Shiva, all in due course. This creation, maintenance, and destruction are nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 19th to 20th verse, as follows. Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratri agame vashaparda prabhavati aharagame parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat sanatana yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyaschu navinashyati. The nature of the material world is that it is first created very nicely. Then it develops very nicely and stays for a great number of years, even beyond the calculation of the great mathematician. But after that, it is again destroyed during the night of Brahma without any resistance, and at the end of night of Brahma, it is again manifested as a creation to follow the same principles of maintenance and destruction. The foolish conditioned soul who has taken this temporary world as a permanent settlement has to learn intelligently why such creation and destruction take place. The fruitive actors in the material world are very enthusiastic in the creation of big enterprises, big houses, big empires, big industries, and so many big things out of the energy and ingredients supplied by the material agent of the Supreme Lord. With such resources and at the cost of valuable energy, the conditioned soul creates, satisfies his whims, but unwillingly has to depart from all his creations and enter into another phase of life to create again and again. To give hope to such foolish conditioned souls who waste their energy in this temporary material world, the Lord gives information that there is another nature which is eternally existent, without being occasionally created or destroyed, and that the conditioned soul can understand what he should do and how his valuable energy may be utilized. Instead of wasting his energy in matter, which is sure to be destroyed in due course by the supreme will, the conditioned soul should utilize his energy in the devotional service of the Lord so that he can be transferred to the other eternal nature where there is no birth, no death, no creation, no destruction, but permanent life instead, full of knowledge and unlimited bliss. The temporary creation is thus exhibited and destroyed just to give information to the conditioned soul who is attached to temporary things. It is also meant to give him a chance for self realization and not for sense gratification, which is a prime aim of all fruitive actors. Abhi, your turn.
इत्थं भावेन कथितो भगवान् भागवत महानेतां भावेन हि परं द्रष्टुम् अर्हन्ति सूरयः. Itam, in these futures, bhavena, the matter of creation and destruction, katitaha, described, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Bhagavata Maha, by the great transcendentalist, not itam, in this, bhavena, futures. He only, param, most glorious, drashtum, to see, arhanti, deserve, surayaha, great devotees. Translation. The great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of God, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. Purport: the Lord is not only the creator and destroyer of the material manifestations of his different energies. He is more than a simple creator and destroyer, for his feature is Ananda, or his pleasure feature. This pleasure feature of the Lord is understood by pure devotees only, and not by others. The impersonalist is satisfied simply by understanding the all-pervasive influence of the Lord. This is called Brahman realization. Greater than the impersonalist is the mystic who sees the Lord situated in his heart at Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord. But there are pure devotees who take part in the direct pleasure, Ananda, potency of the Lord, by factual reciprocation of loving service. The Lord, in his abode called the Vaikuntha planets, which are eternal manifestations, always remains with his associates and enjoys transcendental loving service by his pure devotees in different transcendental humors. The pure devotees of the Lord thus undergo a practice of that devotional service to the Lord during the manifestation of the creation and take full advantage of the manifestation by qualifying themselves to enter into the kingdom of God. The Bhagavad Gita 18.55 confirms this. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tad anantaram anantaram. By development of pure devotional service, one can factually know the Lord as He is, and thus be trained in the bona fide service of the Lord and be allowed to enter into the direct association of the Lord in so many capacities. The Golok of Vrindavana, where Lord Krishna enjoys himself with the gopis and his favorite animals, the Surabhi cows, a description of this transcendental Surabhi cows. A description of this transcendental land of Krishna is given in the Brahma Samhita, which is considered by Lord Sri Chaitanya to be the most authentic literature in this connection.
Text 45. Nasya karmani janmadau parasyanudvidhiyate kartvatva pratisedhartam mayayaropitam hitat. Never. Asya, of the creation. Karmani, in the matter of. Janma adav, creation and destruction. Parasya, of the supreme. Anuvidhiyate, it is so described. Kartatva, engineering. Pratisedha artham, counteract. Mayaya, by the external energy. Aropitam, is manifested. He, for. Tat, the creator. Translation. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Purport. The Vedic direction for the creation, maintenance and destruction of the material world is this. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisam visanti. That is, everything is created by Brahman. After creation, everything is maintained by Brahman. And after annihilation, everything is conserved in Brahman. Gross materialists, without any knowledge of Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagwan, conclude material nature to be the ultimate cause of the material manifestation. And the modern scientist also shares this view that the material nature is the ultimate cause of all the manifestations of the material world. This view is refuted by all Vedic literature. The Vedanta philosophy mentions that Brahman is the fountainhead of all creation, maintenance and destruction, and Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural commentation on the Vedanta philosophy, says Janmadi asya yato nvayad itaratas chartevsva abhignasvarat, etc. Inert matter is undoubtedly energy with potential to interact, but it has no initiative of its own. Srimad Bhagavatam therefore comments on the aphorism Janmadi Asya by saying Abhigna and Swarat, that is, the Supreme Brahman is not inert matter, but he is Supreme Consciousness and is independent. Therefore, inert matter cannot be the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world. Superficially, material nature appears to be the cause of the creation, maintenance, and destruction, but material nature is set into motion for creation by the Supreme Consciousness being, the personality of Godhead. He is the background of all creation, maintenance, and destruction, and this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 10. Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetu Nanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord, and she can work under the direction of the Lord, Adhyakshena. When the Lord throws his transcendental glance over the material nature, then only can the material nature act. As a father contacts the mother, who is then able to conceive a child. Although it appears to the layman that the mother gives birth to the child, the experienced man knows that the father gives birth to the child. The material nature therefore produces the moving and standing manifestations of the material world after being contacted by the Supreme Father, and not independently. Considering material nature to be the cause of creation, maintenance, etc., is called the logic of nipples on the neck of a goat. The Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami describes this logic of Ajagala Sthananyaya as follows, as explained by His Divine Grace Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. The material nature as the material cause is known as Pradhana, and as the efficient cause is known as Maya. But since it is inert matter, it is not the remote cause of creation. Kaviraj Goswami states as follows: Athaiva Krishna Moola Jagat Karana Prakriti Karana Yaicha Ajagalasthana. Chaitanya Charitamritam Adi 5.61. Because Karanara it's not Karanar Vasai Vishnu is a plenary expansion of Krishna.
Karanarana Vishai Vishnu
Is a plenary expansion of Krishna. It is he who electrifies the matter to put in motion. The example of electrification is quite appropriate. A piece of iron is not certainly fire, but when the iron is made red hot, certainly it has the quality of fire through its burning capacity. Matter is compared to the piece of iron, and it is electrified or made red hot by the glance or manipulation of the supreme consciousness of Vishnu. No. Only by such electrification is the energy of matter displayed in various actions and reactions. Therefore, the inert matter is neither efficient nor the material cause of the cosmic manifestation. Sri Kapiladeva has said, Yatolmukad Vishpulingad Dhumad Vapi Swasambhavat Api Atmat Venad Bhimatad Yathagnehi Prithag Ulmukat. Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, verse 40. The original fire, its flame, its sparks, and its smoke are all one. For fire is still fire, yet is different from the flame. Flame is different from sparks, and sparks are different from the smoke. In every one of them, namely in the flames, in the sparks, and in the smoke, the integrity of fire is present. Yet all of them are differently situated with different positions. The cosmic manifestation is compared to the smoke because when smoke passes over the sky, so many forms appear, resembling many known and unknown manifestations. The sparks are compared to living entities, and the flames are compared to material nature, pradhana. One must know that each and every one of them is effective simply because of being empowered by the quality of the original fire. Therefore, all of them, namely the material nature, the cosmic manifestation, and the living entities, are but different energies of the Lord, fire. Therefore, those who accept the material nature as the cosmic manifestation's original cause, Prakriti, The cause of creation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are not correct in their conclusion. The material nature has no separate existence without the Lord. Therefore, setting aside the Supreme Lord as the cause of all causes is the logic of Ajagala Sthananyaya, or trying to milk the nipples on the neck of a goat. The nipples on the neck of a goat may seem like sources of milk, but to try to get milk from such nipples will be foolish.
Text 46, Canto 2, Chapter 10. Ayam tu brahmana kalpa savikalpa udahrita vidhi sadharano yatra sarga prakruta vaikrataha. I am this process of creation and annihilation, too, but Brahmana of Brahma. Kalpaha, his one day. Savikalpaha, along with the duration of the universes. Udahrataha, exemplified. Vidhi, regulative principles. Sadharanaha, in summary. Yatra, wherein. Sarga, creation. Prakruta, in the matter of material nature. Vaikritaha, disbursement. Translation. This process of creation and annihilation, described in summary herein, is a regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. It is also the regulative principle in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are three different types of creation called Mahakalpa, Vikalpa and Kalpa. In the Mahakalpa, the Lord assumes the first Purusha incarnation as Karano Dakasai Vishnu, with all the potencies of the Mahat Tattva and the 16 principles of creative matter and instruments. The creative instruments are 11, the ingredients are 5, and all of them are products of Mahat or materialistic ego. These creations by the Lord in his feature of Karanodakasai Vishnu are called Mahakalpa. The creation of Brahma and dispersion of the material ingredients are called Vikalpa. And the creation by Brahma in each day of his life is called Kalpa. Therefore, each day of Brahma is called a Kalpa. And there are 30 Kalpas in terms of Brahma's days. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 8.17 as follows. Sahasrayuga paryantam haryad brahmano viduh ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido jinaha. In the upper planetary system, the duration of one complete day and night is equal to one complete year of this earth. This is accepted even by the modern scientists and attested by the astronauts. Similarly, in the region of still higher planetary systems, the duration of day and night is still greater than in the heavenly planets. The 4 yugas are calculated in terms of heavenly calendars and accordingly are 12,000 years in terms of the heavenly planet. This is called a Divya Yuga. And 1,000 Divya Yugas make one day of Brahma. The creation during the day of Brahma is called Kalpa, and the creation of Brahma is called Vikalpa. When Vikalpas are made possible by the breathing of Mahavishnu, this is called a Mahakalpa. There are regular and systematic cycles of these Mahakalpas, Vikalpas and Kalpas. In answer to the Maharaja Parikshit's question about them, Sukadeva Goswami answered in the Prabhasa Kanda of the Skanda Purana. They are as follows. प्रथमाश्वेतकल्पश्च द्वितीयो नीललोहिताः वामदेवस्तृतीयस्तु ततो गतान्तरोपराः रौरवः पञ्चमा प्रोक्ता षष्ठा प्राण इति स्मृताः सप्तमोऽथ बृहत्कल्पा कन्दर्पोस्तमः उच्यते सद्योता नवमः कल्पा ईशानो दशमा स्मृताः ध्यान एकादश प्रोक्तास् तथा सारस्वतो पराः त्रयोदश उदानानस्तु गरुडता चतुर्दशः कौर्मः पञ्चदशो ज्ञेया पौर्णांसि प्रजापतेः सो नारसिंहस्तु समाधिस्तु ततोपराः आग्नेयो विष्णुजसौरा सोमकल्पस्तदोपराः द्वाविंशो भावनाः प्रोक्ता सुपुमान् इति चापराः वैकुण्ठाचाष्टितस्तद्वाद् वलिकल्पस्तदोपराः सप्तविंशोऽथवैराजो गौरीकल्पस्तदापराः महेश्वरस्तदा प्रोक्तास्त्रिपुरो यात्र गातिता पितृकल्पस्तदा चान्ते याकुहुर्ब्राह्मणस्मृता. Therefore, the 30 kalpas of Brahma are Svetakalpa, Nilalohita, 3 Vamadeva, 4 Gatantara, 5 Raurava, 6 Prana, 7 Brihatkalpa, 8 Khandarpa, 9 Sadyota, 10 Ishana, 11 Dhyana, 12 Saraswata, 13 Udana, 14 Garuda, 15 Kaurma, 16 Narasimha, 17 Samadhi, 18 Agneya, 19 Vishnuja, 20 Saura, 21 Somakalpa, 22 Bhavana, 23 Supuma, 24 Vaikunta, 25 Arsisa, 26 Valikalpa, 27 Vairaja, 28 Gauri Kalpa, 29 Maheshwara, 30th Paitru Kalpa. These are Brahma's days only, and he has to live months and years up to 100. So you can just imagine how many creations there are in kalpas only. Then again there are vikalpas, which are generated by the breathing of Mahavishnu, as said in the Brahma Samhita. Yeshaika nishwasita kalam atavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanataha. The Brahmas live only during the breathing period of Mahavishnu. So the exhaling and inhaling of Vishnu are Mahakalpas. And all these are due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For no one else is a matter of all creations.
Text 47. Parimanam cha kalasya kalpalakshana vigraham yatha purastat vyakhyasi padmam kalpam atoshrunu. Parimanam, measurement, cha, also, kalasya, of time, kalpa, a day of Brahma, lakshana, symptoms, vigraham, form, yatha, as much as, purastat, hereafter, vyakhyasai, shall be explained, padmam, by the name Padma, kalpam, the duration of a day, atho, thus, shrinu, just hear. Translation. O King, I shall in due course explain the measurement of time in its gross and subtle features with the specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me explain unto you the Padma Kalpa. Purport. The present duration of a Kalpa of Brahma is called Varaha Kalpa or Svete Varaha Kalpa, because the incarnation of the Lord as Varaha took place during the creation of Brahma, who was born on the lotus coming out of the abdomen of Vishnu. Therefore, this Varaha Kalpa is also called Padma Kalpa, and this is testified by acharyas like Jiva Goswami as well as Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, in pursuance of the first commentator Swami Sridhara. So there is no contradiction between the Varaha and the Padma Kalpa of Brahma.
सौनक उवाच यदहनो भवान् सुतः क्षत्रभागवतोत्तमः चाचरतीर्थानि भुवस् त्यक्त्वा बान्धून् सुदुस्त्यजान् Saunaka Uvacha. She Saunaka Muni said, Yat as, aha, you said, naha unto us. Bhavan, your good self, Suta, O Suta, Kshata, Vidura, Bhagavata Uttamaha, one of the topmost devotees of the Lord, Chachara practiced, Chachara practiced, Tirtani, places of pilgrimage, Bhuvaha, on the earth, Tyaktva, leaving aside, Bandhun, all relatives, Sudustyajan, very difficult to give up. Translation. Saunaka Rishi, after hearing all about the creation, inquired from Suta Goswami about Vidura, for Suta Goswami had previously informed him how Vidura had left home, leaving aside all his relatives who were very difficult to leave. Purport. The Rishis headed by Saunaka were more anxious to know about Vidura, who met Maitreya Rishi while traveling to the pilgrimage of the sights of the world.
49 to 50. Canto 2, Chapter 10. Kshattu kaushara vestasya samvadodhyatma shamshritaha yadvasa bhagavam tasmai prushtastatvam uvachaha bruhinastad idam saumya vidurasya vichestitam bandhutyaga nimittam cha yataiva gatavan punaha kshattaha vidura kausarave eyes that of Maitreya tasya there samvada news adhyatma in the matter of transcendental knowledge samsritaha full of yet which va anything else sahi bhagavan his grace tasmai unto him prishtaha inquired tatvam the truth uvacha answered ha in the past Bruhi, please tell. Nah, unto us. Tat, those matters. Idam, here. Saumya, O gentle one. Vidurasya, of Vidura. Vichestitam, activities. Bandhutyaga, renouncing the friends. Nimittam, the cause of. Cha, also. Yata, as. Eva, also. Agat, Tavan, came back. Punah, again, at home. Translation. Saunaka Rishi said, let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidura and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. Also, please, let us know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection of his family members, and why he again came home. Please also let us know the activities of Vidura while he was in the place of pilgrimage. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Suta Goswami was narrating the topics of the creation and destruction of the material world. But it appears that the rishis headed by Saunaka were more inclined to hear of transcendental subjects, which are on a higher level than the physical. There are two classes of men, namely those who are addicted to the gross body and the material world, and others on the higher level who are interested more in transcendental knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam gives facility to everyone, both to the materialist and to the transcendentalist. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of the Lord's glorious activities, both in the material world and in the transcendental world, men can derive equal benefit. The materialists are more interested in the physical laws and how they are acting, and they see wonders in those physical glamours. Sometimes, due to physical glamours, they forget the glories of the Lord. They should know definitely that physical activities and their wonders are all initiated by the Lord. The rose in the garden gradually takes its shape and color to become a beautiful and sweet, not by a blind physical law, although it appears like that. Behind that physical law is a direction of the complete consciousness of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot take shape so systematically. The artist draws a picture of a rose very nicely with all attention and artistic sense, and yet it does not become as perfect as a real nose. If that is a real fact, how can we say that the real rose has taken its shape without intelligence behind the beauty? This sort of conclusion is due to a poor fund of knowledge. One must know from the above description of creation and annihilation that the Supreme Consciousness, being omnipresent, can take care of everything with perfect attention. That is the fact of the omnipresence of the Supreme Lord. Persons still more foolish than the gross materialists, however, claim to be transcendentalists and claim to have such supreme, all pervading consciousness, but offer no proof. Such foolish persons cannot know what is going on behind the next wall, yet they are falsely proud of possessing the cosmic, all pervading consciousness of the Supreme Person. For them also, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is a great help. It will open their eyes to see that simply by claiming the Supreme Consciousness, one does not become supremely conscious. One has to prove in the physical world that he has such supreme consciousness. The rishis of Naimisaranya, however, were above the gross materialist and the false transcendentalist, and thus they were always anxious to know the real truth in transcendental matters as discussed by authorities.
श्रुत उवाचारज्ञपरीक्षितः पृष्ठो यदोवचान्महामुनिः तद्वोभिदश्ये श्रुत रग्नः प्रश्नानुसारतः Suta Uvacha, Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, replied, Yagna by the king, Parikshita by Parikshit, Prishtab, as asked, Yad, what, Ovachat, spoke Mahat Muni, Mahamunihi, the great sage, Tat, that very thing, Vaha, unto you, Abhidashye, I shall explain, Shrunuta, please hear, Ragnaha, by the king, Prashna, question, Anusharataha, in accordance with. Translation, Sri Sukadeva Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sage in answer to King Parikshit's inquiries. Please hear them attentively. Purport. Any question that is put forward may be answered by quoting the authority, and that satisfies the saner section. That is the system even in the law court. The best lawyer gives evidence from the past judgment of the court without taking much trouble to establish his case. This is called parampara system, and learned authorities follow it without manufacturing rubbish interpretations. Ishvara Parama Krishna Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachinananda Vigraha Anadi Radhe Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Let us all obey the Supreme Lord. Brahma Samhita 5.1. Let us all obey the Supreme Lord, whose hand is in everything, without exception. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Hare Krishna. End of the second canto. Hare Krishna. We don't need the book anymore.
Padma
केवल भक्ति सद्मा बंद मुई सावधान माते जहरा प्रसादे भाई ए भवा तोरिया जाय कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहा होते गुरुमुख पद्मावख्या चिते कोरिया क्या अरे ना कोरी हो माने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रते ऐसे उत्तम गति जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाँ चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना हा हा प्रभु कोरो दोया देह मोरे पाद छाया ए बीजास गुसुत्री भुवाना श्रील प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना य प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिने Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatadi Satarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai
The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean and mature and meditate the mercy of Krishna. My only wish to have my conscience purified by the wisdom emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic power emanates, by him knowledge is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord of master devotees. O Lokanath Goswami, O Master, be merciful unto us, give the shade of your lotus feet. Your famous spirit all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of the lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.